Traveling, that's all. So, history lesson time for you today. I know it's so exciting for you. So, during the Roman period time, the Jews were upset that the Romans had been occupying and guarding their Jerusalem temple. They had obtained it back from the Greeks with celebration of Hanukkah, but now the Romans were occupying their place, and so they began to have militant groups go up against the Romans to try to chase them out, and the leaders of these groups were called Christs as part of their title, because of the prophecies in their Torah and by Jeremiah. And so they were trying to fulfill prophecy. And as a result, there was a lot of apocalyptic literature being written to support their militant actions and provide for their
I can sure look for you, will I?
and moving day. And as we know, the Romans destroyed the Jerusalem temple, and Masada was a bloodbath, and so what you have resulting is independent Jewish groups scattered about attacking the Romans where they were, and the Romans were unsuccessful at exterminating the Jews. And so when Constantine comes along, he figures out a way to provide a new approach to attacking the Jews. And he claims he had seen the sign in the heavens of the apocalyptic prophecies of the Jews, the Cairo, the crossroads with the row, which is the Egyptian symbol for God, the flag symbol, and forced the bishops of the various congregations to gather if they wanted to receive funding from the Roman Empire, to unite them under one banner and one religion, one faith, one God, one religion, and one baptism. And they had designed it, the Nicene Creed, such that the name of Christ would be Jesus. Yah saves, God of salvation. And that comes from Jeremiah's prophecy. And in so doing, they also designated him as a real person who already came during this period of the Romans where the Jews were trying to free themselves from Roman occupation. And kind of a mockery to say that Jesus was there and saved them, when obviously he didn't. And it therefore turned their apocalyptic literature into Gospels, literal history. And this then turned these united bishops, which after the Roman Empire fell, it became a pope to lead the bishops. Pope is the chief bishop, but he's considered a vicar of God, which means he's the mouthpiece on earth, the Christ.
All right, cool.
But they've sort of separated the meanings had originated, and chaos and confusion results when you change definitions. But Jesus did not exist, and so for the nature and character, nobody could agree on his nature and character, and so Constantine created the brand new word, homuzion, or homuzios, depending on how it's used in a sentence, the grammatical terminations. And it has no meaning, it therefore means not real. Supernatural means not real. There is no such thing as supernatural. It means not real. And so, as time goes on, the Roman Empire falls, and the authority for the church is in Game of Thrones conflict, in which you have an orthodoxy breakup. You have the various orthodoxies that split off and form their own orthodoxy. And then you get the Enlightenment period, in which the Gutenberg Bible is able to be used on the print press, or printed on the print press. And so you get printing for the first time in history. And people are able to read for themselves the ancient documents and learn Greek and other stuff. Egyptian was dead, and so nobody knew Egyptian, but Greek and Latin documents that were available, especially the Bible. And this resulted in the Protestant Reformation, which shattered the orthodoxies. Christianity had ceased to exist, as it's now a fallen, broken up organization of over 1,000 now. And you also get during this time a group called the Illuminati by Johann Adam Weishaupt. And his intention was revenge, to destroy governments and cause a rising up of a new government, new world order. And there were many instances in which that had taken place. And of course, with America being brand new in 1776, they made their way to America. There's an instance of an attempt to attack America and infiltrate in 1800, but especially during the War of 1812. And in this particular case, Captain William Morgan, he said he was in that war, had found out some top secret information, obtained it from the enemy, as he was a spy in a sense, that the Illuminati had infiltrated the Scottish Rites Freemasons in America. And their purpose was to use the Bible prophecies of the Jews during the Roman period to have them manually fulfilled so that they would happen. But they weren't going to happen according to the star dates for another 200 years. And what you have is Joseph Smith Sr. helping William Morgan write the book to warn America. And William Morgan was caught, arrested there in Canandaigua, where Joseph Smith Sr. was the Master Mason. And so Joseph Smith Sr., as the Master Mason, had a duty to finish the book. And it became known as the Book of Mormon. And it itself describes it as in the Revelation prophesying of the Jews. And yet, nonetheless, Heber C. Kimball as we learn from his Wikipedia page under Masonry, knew all about how Joseph Smith Sr. was involved in saving America and getting the Book of Mormon published to warn the Americans. And he infiltrated the church with Brigham Young. They were put in as missionaries to go around and spread the Book of Mormon around, but they sabotaged it. And we're going around telling people that it's literal history, just like the Bible, that Constantine had changed, and that Jesus is the Christ, just as Constantine did, and that's another testament, not literal history rather than apocalyptic literature. And so, yes, Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball knew exactly what they were doing to sabotage Joseph's church from within, having infiltrated and been put into position to convert people to what they were being told was a Christian religion with Jesus as the Christ and another gospel. And so the Joseph Smith Papers confirms this, as we see that Joseph Smith gives him license to minister as the Church of Christ still. And 1834 it was changed to the Church of Latter-day Saints. But when Brigham Young went to England, his license now had the wrong name, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that abominable Christ. And the purpose we now know in retrospect. When he has his section in the Doctrine and Covenants to go to the Salt Lake Valley, he has a call put out to everybody who's belonging to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So now we see what his purpose was as a missionary of the 12 apostles, was to convert to his coud church. 1838, he coud the leadership of the church with the Mormon War that got Joseph Smith locked up in Liberty Jail, being framed for it. And then you have his assassination by Brigham Young. The Danites were the ones who brought Joseph to the jail, and his 12, John Taylor and Willard Richards, were the ones left behind to make sure that he died. As the mob came from the Warsaw Lodge that Brigham Young and Heber had already been in contact with for the Freemasonry Nauvoo Lodge that Joseph Smith was a part of. And so that was Brigham Young's whole purpose. He was part of this from the Scottish Rites to coup America in the latter days to restore the New World Order, the Kingdom of God, which is Lucifer-based. Brigham Young purposely fulfilled all of the prophecies of the Book of Mormon about the Great and Abominable Church. And it's so blatantly obvious, I kick myself every day that I didn't see it as a brainwashed kid. But nonetheless, when you now see what Brigham Young was doing, when he got to the valley, you can see how he was setting it all up and fighting America and accusing America of taking away their religious freedom to commit crimes. But under Nelson, we are now in those latter-day star dates given in prophecy, and you can now see, if you follow me, that Nelson knows exactly what's going on and what he's supposed to be doing right now at this time, that he knows he was called for this purpose, and the changes he's made is to restore that Brighamite kingdom and overthrow American government.